let's talk about Ines's nerfs. Let's get on into it. Also, I apologize, I don't have any Ines gameplay, so we're using old Purge 17 gameplay, but you know, I'm sure you guys will forgive me. But more importantly, let's talk about Ines getting nerfed. Does she actually need to be nerfed? Yes. If you think otherwise, then you are not thinking about the greater balance of this game. Ines is a force to be reckoned with within Purge, well, within the earlier level of Purge, all the way up to around about Purge 27. Now is the absolute limit with all skill-based Descendants before the Beyond the Void update has come out. But with Ines, there is one very niche thing about her. And let's talk about her first and her fourth ability. Now her first ability is her... well, it's her go-to. She'll always be able to use this. She has a passive ability which allows her to gain MP back on critical hit. When every single hit you do with the first ability is a critical hit anyways. And your fourth ability, it tends to make life quite easy, especially with all of this MP buff. Now, with all of this, this is just her first ability. Her fourth ability will cast a circle of plasma, which, you know, will just delete everything around it. Got a pretty big radius, instant effect. Was a massive issue for people who didn't have access to cooldown, but access to put their graphics down, but now that's been fixed, so we're not going to go on over that anyways. But Ines in herself is a monstrous Descendant. Now, of course, power creeping is going to exist in this game regardless, and nerfs and buffs will come and go as they please. Now, I do always say that this is a PvP game. Why on earth would you nerf any Descendant? Until Ines existed. Now, Ines in her standard nature is a very dominant style of Descendant, not dominatrix. That is a different thing. All of you need to get your mind out of the gutter and learn that this is a freaking game. But Ines is generally very strong and very dominant in her abilities. As soon as she puts her fourth ability down, you can say goodbye to 99% of the enemies inside of that circle. When she uses her first ability, you can, again, more likely say goodbye to basically everything that ability hits. Now, Ines, if you did not know, was literally buffed inside of one of the last patches as well. So this was a Descendant that Nexon deemed worthy of buffing not too long ago. If you have a look on screen right now, you will see that when the last dagger and the relic got buffed, Ines got buffed as well. Now, Ines's first ability was the one that got changed, and then her second ability also got a little bit of a change as well. However, let's talk about whether this nerf is actually going to make a difference. And my answer is straight up, absolutely not. Now, Ines not having access to delete enemies through walls only means that you're probably going to have to just put one extra health module on in order to survive. As soon as you walk into the room, you can still cast your fourth ability. You've just got to survive 1 second whilst casting it. That is literally the only difference. And it just means that you Ines players are going to have to dedicate a whole extra brain cell to basically just, you know, walk into the room instead of standing outside the room to delete everything inside of it. Now, this is coming at a very precarious time as well, because if you didn't know, within the same update, these funky little trees on screen right now are also coming into the game at the same time, and based off what we know, these skill trees can buff everything, including your Descendants HP, your weapons damage, and also your skill power output with these golden tree circle module things you see over here. So let me put this into perspective for you, just because I know some people are going crazy over this nerf. Looking at my comments, I have seen some pretty crazy things, but I'm going to go over them in a short minute. But just for reference, you are going to lose your ability to shoot your first ability through a wall, and your damage output of the first ability will most likely be reduced. But you are literally going to be able to get like plus 30 skill power back from the tree anyways. And if you're really that upset about it, just run full strength on Ines and use the Slayer set, run the exact same build you're running now, and just run skill power on your tree, and it will basically be the exact same, if not maybe even slightly better. Now, people are worried that Serena's just going to power creep Ines, so on and so forth, but that is also semi the nature of this game anyways. The newer Descendant will always be the stronger one, but that is just something that's just going to come and go, and people are going to get over it over time. I don't think people are going to care too much. A lot of people are going to enjoy Serena, a lot of people are going to hate Serena. It's going to be a give and take regardless, so you just got to get back, get cozy, and enjoy the the ride. Now, let me talk about Ines overall as a Descendant. Like we said, when it comes to mobbing, she's amazing. If you are playing solo, you are not going to have any issues with Ines. She's great, she does a lot of damage, she will melt the elites with her first ability. It's basically 1-4 and hold W, or hold forward and press R1X and R1 triangle simulator for 99% of the game. Now, this is the first simple thing about Ines. When it comes to bossing, I did do a tier list not too long ago, and this is an image of what my results were on screen. After more consideration, I wouldn't even call Ines A tier. I'd put her down in it's alright, and I would swap Bunny being up into Pog tier behind Kyle. Now, I know you're thinking, wow, you're just an Ines hater. Absolutely not. When it comes to Bunny, especially dealing with higher level bosses like the Deathstalker, Bunny is significantly more capable than Ines. Bunny has her second ability that can regenerate her shield, and going with a shield build and a supporting legacy or even a smithereens means that Bunny is much more capable than taking Deathstalker than Ines. Same with Gluttony. I literally have an entire video on my YouTube channel, which I will link in the description, of me and 3 other friends taking down pre-nerf Gluttony with nothing but bunnies. So, you know, Bunny is more capable, and her second ability is just significantly more useful than Ines's first, depending on the boss. Now, let's just talk about Ines for bossing. Like I said, she's C tier, around about there at best. Now, I know you'll be screaming, punching your mics, and uppercutting your dads and killing your kittens in the corner or something like that, but hear me out. Ines is not bad at bossing. She's only good at bossing when it comes to the bosses that she's super effective against, that being the Devourer with a full strength build on a solo lobby, or if you are in a public lobby, it still works just as fine with the lower level bosses. With the higher levels, it might get a little bit more complicated. Swamp Walker, she's great against. Obstructor, great against. Defiler is no longer going to be in the game soon, and the Tormentor is an electric boss, so Ines is not going to be the best against that. I think that potentially it'll be Glare Last Dagger synergy, again, along with Enzo to buff if you are playing in squads or duos or anything higher, as well as 3 critical hit Frainers buffed by a Luna might also be another strat. We are waiting and seeing how this Tormentor goes. Execution with Drip goes absolutely unfathomably hard, but let's get back to the main point. Ines is amazing at mobbing. She's amazing at mobbing solo, specifically. In a group is Ines's strong point as well, depending on the situation. Now, let me talk about Ines's situationship real quick. Now, Ines will be absolutely great in a group as long as there is not other Ineses inside of the group. Ines falls apart when she's fighting against other Ineses. The absolutely amazing thing about this is that if you get into a lobby with 3 Ineses and you're sitting there as a bunny, you're not going to have to worry, because everything's going to get real funny when all these Ineses are fighting each other more than the enemy. Now, what I mean by that is, if you see the big old pink bar, you gotta build your resources somehow with your second ability or with your first, and Ines will fight other Ines for said resource to cast their 4th ability to go fast. Bunny, just press your 2, run, call it a day. Or you don't even need your 2, just use a sprint speed weapon. Same would apply with Ines, you know, make sure to use a sprint speed weapon if you want to keep your moving up. But, you know, the biggest part here that Bunny and Ines are very, very back and forth. This might change it depending on the update. We're gonna have to wait and see. So, Ines is great in a squad, great in a solo, okay at bossing. So what is there? What is there left for me to say? Is the nerf going to change anything? No, absolutely not. You're just stressing over nothing. Skill trees are going to fix everything regardless. The stronger Descendants are going to be even stronger by a margin. The weaker Descendants are going to be buffed up by a margin. And all is going to be good. If you disagree with anything I've said, please let me know in the comment section below. Because I've heard way too many people go into crazy comments like this that I'm going to put on screen right now about Ines being nerfed and stuff like that. I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. Nexon are not stupid enough to take down and just delete a lot of the charisma and the fan base around a specific Descendant because she's a strong one. That was absolutely not happen. If it was a male Descendant, maybe, but it's a female, so you know you're gonna get away with this, guys. Just relax, everything's gonna be okay. But yeah, that's basically been this video. Hope you've enjoyed. If you did, please do smash that like button. If you like Ines, I don't know, comment that Ines has nice hair or something like that. But yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.